Hey, good afternoon, y'all. I'm back because there's a lot of news going on this morning, a lot of violent news going on this morning all around the world. Um, First of all, to follow up on the story that I reported to y'all about the failed coup in the Congo, well, those, remember, 51 defendants were on trial for a failed coup. The leader of that coup, Christian Malanga, he was killed along with two of his security guards during the failed coup. But the rest of them were captured and incarcerated, and they just wrapped up their trial today. Well, the military court sentenced 37 of them to death, including the three Americans who were involved in the failed coup. Remember, I told you they stormed the presidential palace and it didn't work out. They were unsuccessful, so that's the reason why they got sentenced to death. One of the defendants, I think, was found to be mentally incompetent, and 14 were acquitted. But that just happened today. They just wrapped up the trial and gave them their sentences today over in the Congo. Um, also, they're saying that Israel has now wiped out Hamas in Rafah. They have destroyed they have destroyed the military forces in Rafah in Gaza, killing. They said the casualty count is like 2,300, over 2,300. So Israel is not playing. They told them they were going to wipe them out of Gaza and the West Bank. But the one thing I could say about Hamas and Hezbollah and those Arab and Muslim soldiers, when they go to war, they go to war to die. So they have no fear. So they're not going to negotiate with the United States or Israel at this point. And like I said, it doesn't look good for the remaining hostages. Um, but I knew that Israel would eventually just go ahead and get Hezbollah and Hamas out of the way. So that's what's probably, it has escalated it to this point now that they're going to just go ahead and get rid of those two military forces. Then Iran is probably going to step in it because now they got to deal with Jordan, they got to deal with Turkey, they got to deal with Egypt and Iran, so that's where they are in Israel now. Um, there is no hostage negotiations going to happen. Also, Israel has given Yahya Sinwar, who is on the run, they said, hiding in the tunnels in Gaza. They're offering him the opportunity for a safe out, a safe escort out of Gaza to leave peacefully. But we all know that's not going to happen. Netanyahu is not going to let Yahya Sinwar leave Gaza alive. They're going to probably do him the like America did Saddam and hunt him down in those tunnels. I think they did. Who else was in the tunnels? It was Gaddafi and Saddam Hussein. They found them in the tunnels when they got captured. But I think that's what's going to happen. Yahya Sinwar probably is not going to leave out of Gaza alive. Netanyahu is not going to negotiate with his enemies. He's already said it. Um, he wants to eliminate the problem once and for all. So he that's just where he is. There's no negotiating anymore. Um, Biden and Starmer met to discuss whether to lift the restrictions off of Ukraine to use long range missiles inside of Russia to defend itself against Russia's attacks. And they're more than likely going to allow it. And Putin said that if they did, it's going to up the war a notch. He said, if y'all do this, if you permit Ukraine to use range missiles to strike inside of Russia, then Russia will then be at war with NATO. So they were going to make that decision today. I think they were going to make the announcement today. So expect something to happen probably this weekend. Um, it's so much going on, y'all. Also, with with the issue with Haiti and the Haitian immigrants, a lot of people are saying that Trump and these right wing extremists are making up stories about Haitians eating cats and dogs and livestock, and that they're making up lies. But truth be told, those are not lies because that is a part of those people's religion. In Haiti, they practice animal sacrifice in their voodoo ceremonies, their Santeria ceremonies. That stuff is real, and if you don't believe it, then you are really ignorant to and blind to the religions of the world. But they do really truly practice that. And that there are stories out there in the news that says that those immigrants are up there taking livestock, geese, and things like that. That was a true story because I just read it. Um, but that is a part of their rituals and their ceremonies. That Santeria, that hoodoo, voodoo, witchcraft stuff, they really do drink animal blood, sacrifice animals, dance with corpses. That's all a part of their religion. It's wicked, it's evil. That's a godless country. I mean, those are godless nations. They practice that stuff in Cuba, Haiti, and all the, just them islands, those African religions and stuff. They practice that type of stuff. So I don't disbelieve that. I believe that is very much happening. If they got 20,000 Haitian immigrants up there who a who are from a country whose main religious practice is Catholicism, voodoo, and Santeria, you think they're not up there participating in holding rituals and ceremonies up there just because they in America now? They bring their religious beliefs with them and their practices with them. That's all. So don't say that's just right wing propaganda because it's not. That stuff, those are real practices amongst those people. Um, so yeah, this migrant crisis, like I said, it's gonna get worse too. Y'all don't believe, y'all just don't believe it's gonna happen. This is about to be major anarchy over here in this country. Um, this is the zombie apocalypse that they used to always warn us about like 20 years ago. This this is how the zombie apocalypse is gonna look. A bunch of drug addicts, zombies, methed out, committing all kind of crimes. Bunch of lawless migrants and stuff. That stuff is going to happen. If I don't see, I don't see how it's not gonna happen because this has gotten out of control. But yeah, um, I'm gonna post a few stories on here, but this is what's happening now. Um, Expect Russia if the decision is made to lift the restrictions off the long range missile use um, with Ukraine from Biden and Starmer. Expect Russia to react and retaliate probably this weekend. Um, so, yeah. So now the Pope is putting his 2 cents in. I thought he was on his peace tour in Asia and India somewhere, so he's putting his 2 cents in, and he's telling U.S. Catholics how to vote to choose the lesser evil in coming election. I'm not going to choose evil. I'm sorry. So, um, what else we have? But yeah, I just don't see Yahya Sinwar making it out of Gaza alive. Netanyahu is not going to let him. The IDF is not going to let Netanyahu. I mean, he's not going to let Sinwar make it out of Gaza alive. He's probably not going to make it out of those. They're gonna pull him out of those tunnels and capture him, or they're gonna kill him in those tunnels. But I just don't see him making it out alive. They're not going to let him just walk away from all of this. Although they're trying to convince him, he knows better. Sinwar knows better too. He's not that. I don't think he's that naive to think that Israel's going to just let him walk away after all of this bloodshed. That's just not going to happen. Um, but Sinwar probably has um, he probably has the motivation anyway that he's gonna he'll die before he let them take him alive. I don't know. We'll see. But I just don't see him surviving and being able to leave out of the Middle East. I just don't see it happening. Uh, let's see what else we have. But that's pretty much about it. Yeah, that's about it. That's the main news that's going on. But it's a lot. It's a lot going on. These wars are heating up because there's some major decisions made on this Friday the 13th, September 13th, 2024. A lot of decisions are being made today. Major decisions that's going to affect the whole world. Um, say children, women among 19 dead in Israel's unrelenting Gaza strikes. More casualties. Uh, Israel forces raid more towns in occupied West Bank. They're trying to clear out that whole West Bank. They're going to clear out that whole West Bank. Ain't no trying to. They're going to do it. Um, I don't see why everybody's coming down on Israel. Like Israel is the aggressor in all of this. Israel is defending itself against its enemies on all sides, and um and not we're I'm not, but the world is painting Netanyahu and the IDF as the villains, and they're not. They're defending themselves pretty much. I mean, but yeah. So America seems to think that Putin is only making empty threats. If he says that they give Zelensky and Ukraine the go ahead, the green light to launch long range missiles inside of Russia, they think Putin is not going to do anything about that. That's gullible to even think that. He's going to step up Russia's attacks on Ukraine if that happens. So we're going to wait for the announcement and see, if they make the announcement, Starmer and Biden, because they had a meeting today. And we're going to see if they allow Zelensky and Ukraine to use the long range missiles. But oh, it's heating up. It's heating up, y'all. These on what is this? On Friday the 13th. It's a crazy day today. So all right, anything else happens, I will be back. Peace. Also, as far as with these arsonists, these fires, California law enforcement is now saying that this man, this Norco man in California, the 34-year-old who set the line fire, said he tried to set off two more fires, tried to set off two other blazes. And they said right now they're going to upgrade his charges. Arson suspect in line fire faces 9 charges relating to injured because a firefighter was injured and $7 million. He caused $7 million in damage. But they've also in Colorado arrested another arsonist. He started the Alexander Mountain Fire, and he's accused of arson and impersonating a first responder. So, what is the point? What is he? Why are these people doing this? I don't get it. I just don't get it. It's just crazy. But let's see. Here's what the information is on this guy. The Alexander Mountain Fire. Obtained court documents from California outlining Jason Hobby's previous arrest in 1999. Yeah, they said this guy had a previous criminal history, an extensive criminal history that set this mountain fire in Colorado. And I believe they said he is 49, 49, 50 years old, setting fires out in the woods, in the mountains. You ain't got nothing better to go and start fires in the mountain. I just don't get it. I don't get it. But yeah, they arrested him. Uh, let's see. Larimer County, Colorado. Yeah, he's been arrested before. Jason Alexander Hobby, 49, of Loveland, Colorado. He faces charges of first-degree arson, 2 counts of impersonating a peace officer, felony menacing, false imprisonment, and impersonating a public servant. After obtaining an arrest warrant for Hobby on September 6th, he was taken into custody on September 10th. I'm sorry about that. And his bond is set at $450,000. So different parts of the country. You got people setting fires in Colorado, people setting fires in California, and then the police in California said that there were more suspects that they are looking for that might have possibly set some more fires out there. You just ain't got nothing to do. I don't get it. I really don't. It's just weird. Then there's another one. Let's see. Arrest made following three downtown Madison fires. Arrest made following three downtown Madison fires. Is this Wisconsin? Yep, Wisconsin. A suspect has been arrested in connection to three different fires in downtown Madison that displaced six University of Wisconsin-Madison students early Wednesday morning, according to the Madison Police Department. Two of the fires involved garbage dumpsters. That sounds like teenagers. They may start dumpster fires. Next door neighbors heard an explosion, saw flames, and alerted the residents of the home, according to the incident report. Everybody was evacuated safely with no injuries because two other fires had already been reported within the hour. MPD arson investigators also responded. Estimated damages are approximately $500,000. A GoFundMe has been set up for the students affected. This ain't got nothing to do. Dumpster fires. That is just so evil. So evil. So they displaced some college students, when they did this. That's crazy. So yeah, they still have not contained that line fire. It's still out there burning. Um, I don't even know if it's 50% contained still. And let's see, what about the guy that's on the run, the highway shooter in Kentucky? I don't know if they've captured him yet. I wonder at this point, is he still alive? That guy may have went on ahead and took his own self out because they said there's some pretty rough terrain out there in those woods that he's hiding out in. His name is Joseph Couch, if he's still at large. They upped the reward for him to $25,000. Me, I personally believe he's probably dead. Unless he has like some militia training or he's one of those militia men, he's more than likely dead. If he's out there running in those woods and swamps and whatever, mountains and woods and all that stuff out there in Kentucky, he's more than likely dead. Um, but I guess he's still at large. 10 hours ago, search for interstate shooter still at large. I don't know. I mean, if there may be some mountain lions and stuff up there that may have got a hold of him, some wolves and coyotes or something, I don't know. But he's still out there. It says Joseph Couch evades cops in Kentucky forest, could survive a very long time. If he had planned to do this, um, he may have. They said the sheriff in charge of the search said that he might have packed some food and survival equipment. This seems like to me like this guy has some type of military and militia training. He premeditated this. But then they also said that he was going to off himself. So he might have offed himself. I don't know. But he's been on the run now. What has it been? 6, 7 days, and they still haven't caught him. They don't tell him where this man is. And yeah, they said it's some pretty the rugged terrain and vastness of the Daniel Boone National Forest is complicating the search efforts. So thousands of acres of wilderness, sinkholes, and the possibility of a gunman around every corner. Yeah, those guys got their work cut out for him, trying to find him. So, well, we'll see. Hopefully nobody else gets hurt in the process. So, yeah. Also, Boeing employees have went on strike. They said like 35,000 Boeing personnel has went on strike today. Boeing, yep, strike 2024. So that makes the hotel workers that went on strike. Um, it's like three different, yeah, Boeing factory workers strike for the first time since 2008. They've rejected their contract proposal. 33,000 union members are striking right now, and they have paused all production of Boeing aircraft. So Boeing agrees to big wage hike in preliminary deal with that would avert a strike, but obviously they weren't talking what the employees wanted to hear. So the union, all of them belong to the union. 33,000 of them walked off the job. People are getting fed up. They're getting tired. So yeah, we'll see how that works out. But I reported on two other companies that went on strike last week. Thousands of them, and that's what this one channel I was watching on YouTube said, that it's about to be a lot of strikes um, within the upcoming year. A lot of employees going on strike because the wages, they can't live off the wages that they're being paid. Wages are stagnant, and now with this migrant crisis that's further driving down wages, they said it's going to be a lot of angry employees and angry workers out here going on strike. So we'll see how that works out. So yeah, as of now, 33,000 Boeing employees are on strike. Yep. They closed the Boar's Head plant in Virginia indefinitely due to a listeria outbreak. So again, there's a whole factory full of people out of work. Said this has affected stores in several states, North Carolina, South Carolina, and they closed the whole plant down because of a listeria outbreak at Boar's Head. They make the liverwurst and different meats and stuff. So um, check your food, check your groceries, and see if you got any Boar's Head products. But because they did close down their plant in Virginia indefinitely, so they didn't say when it's going to open back up, if it is going to open back up.
Hello and welcome. You're watching Beyond World is One. My name is Mohammed Saleh, and let's start this broadcast by taking a quick look as to what is making headlines at this hour. Russian President Vladimir Putin sent out a pretty strong message to the NATO military alliance and says that long-range arms for Kiev will mean that the NATO nations are tantamount at war with Russia. The American President Joe Biden is to host the Quad Summit in his hometown of Delaware on September the 21st. The summit is to focus on the Indo-Pacific cooperation. White House has said that India will host the next Quad. But the IDF declares Hamas's Rafah brigade to be defeated. Israel claims that at least about 2,000 of Hamas's operatives have been killed and asserts no active cross-border tunnels have been found in the Gaza Strip. India's NSA Ajit Doval meets with the Chinese Foreign Minister Wang Yi on the sidelines of the BRICS National Security Advisors meeting. Doval underscores the need to maintain peace and tranquility in the border areas and respecting the line of actual control. The United Kingdom calls North Korea's ballistic missile launches on Thursday a breach of multiple United Nations Security Council resolutions and has asserted that the unlawful launches are destabilizing peace and security of the Korean peninsula. In India, the West Bengal Chief Minister Mamata Banerjee has said that she is ready to resign as a deadlock with the doctors persists over the Kolkata rape case. The price of bread has increased by 40 to 66%, admits the Iranian government, says that more price hikes are coming as households are struggling to provide for basic needs. For all the latest news, download the WION app and subscribe to our YouTube channel.
All right, let's turn our video feeds now to the West Coast. Justin Wayne Holstenberg, set to be arraigned today. He's the man accused of starting the devastating line fire currently ravaging San Bernardino County in California. CBS News senior national environmental correspondent Ben Tracy has been following these fires all week. Joins us now for more. And first things first, Ben, what do we know about the suspect and his charges?
Well, he's 34 years old. He's from Norco, California, which is that same area where the line fire started. And investigators say that he actually tried to start the fire multiple times, 2 times, and then on the 3rd time he was successful. And that is the fire that we now know as the line fire, which has burned through 37,000 acres, impacting about 100,000 people. Now, he is now charged with multiple counts of arson. They say that he used incendiary devices to start this fire. His mother is actually defending him in a text to the Los Angeles Times. She apparently said he did not start this fire, but clearly investigators feel otherwise, and that's why he is in court this morning.
Absolutely devastating. So, Ben, is there any sign these fires might stop burning soon? What have you heard?
Yeah, there's actually a lot of encouraging signs. I mean, right behind me here, this mountainside is where the fire here, the airport fire, had been burning, and as you can see, it's not happening anymore. And what looks like smoke up there is actually fog. We had a very thick, what we call a marine layer here in California that came in this morning. That has dropped the temperatures down dramatically. It's added a lot of moisture to these areas. So firefighters are actually very encouraged. They think they're going to be able to get the upper hand on these fires and really boost those containment levels. We're not seeing any sort of kind of active flame situation on any of these fires anymore. So that gives firefighters a day where they can build containment lines and hopefully keep these from spreading further.
Oh, Ben, that's good news, because I truly thought that was smoke behind you, so welcome the fog. Ben Tracy, Ben, thank you. All right, let's go to meteorologist Jessica Birch now for more on the conditions. Hey, Jess.
You know, we've been keeping such a close eye on all of Southern California with fire conditions widespread throughout that region. But earlier this week, we had that heat wave sweep through with record-breaking numbers throughout Los Angeles, all the way over in San Bernardino. And everyone's been working so hard. CAL FIRE, the National Guard, got activated. You've been seeing ski resorts like the Mountain High Ski Resort turn on their snow blowers just to keep that fire line away from them, and it's working. But we continue to still deal with poor air quality, anywhere from the line fire stretching all the way over into the airport fire, with the updated numbers now at 51,000 acres for the bridge fire, 37 for the line fire. And this smoke is getting lifted into the upper level atmosphere, and it's getting pushed over into Nevada and all throughout that region as we head into the coming days, bringing in poor air quality. But at least those red flag warnings have now been expired. As we head into the coming days, we continue to monitor Southern California as they're finally catching a break from all that heat we had earlier. Let's advance this though, because the winds are still a big concern, especially in the afternoon hours. Areas like San Bernardino could see a wind gust anywhere up to around 20 miles per hour this afternoon, and we see a similar trend as we head into our Saturday afternoon forecast too. Now, whether or not the surface level is going to see poor air quality, it really depends on where you're at. But you look up in the skies down there, and they're all seeing the same painted picture. For the most part, it is still poor air quality in areas close to San Bernardino, all the way over into Los Angeles. We're in that moderate category. I'd mentioned temperatures just a second ago, and I want to show you that real fast. We had triple digits in areas like Los Angeles earlier this week. Record-breaking numbers widespread throughout Southern California, but now we're talking about 70s and higher relative humidity. All of these are great things, all great ingredients when it comes to fire weather conditions down there. And we'll have more on that in a bit, and what's going on with the tropics too coming up in just a bit, Juliet.
Right, the conditions are working in their favor though. All right, Jess, thank you.
And shifting to the Middle East, Israel has reportedly offered Hamas chief Yahya Sinwar safe passage out of Gaza in return for the release of 101 hostages that are still in captivity. Israel says the option of a safe passage was proposed almost 2 days ago. However, Hamas is yet to respond. Now, Hamas chief Yahya Sinwar is one of the main masterminds and architects of the October 7th attacks on Israel and has repeatedly vowed to never leave Gaza and fight for the Palestinian cause. If Sinwar takes the deal for safe passage, it would put his leadership in serious doubt, with over 45,000 Palestinians having lost their lives by Israeli bombing because of the October 7 Hamas attack. Additionally, Israel's offer for a safe passage could also be a ploy to get Hamas to disclose details of the whereabouts of where Sinwar is hiding. Meanwhile, the Israeli army continues with search and rescue operations in Gaza's tunnels in an attempt to rescue the remaining hostages.
The shaft goes down about 20 meters into the ground, using 4 separate ladders. There, it connects to a narrow tunnel with no rooms that is so low You can't stand up straight in it. The tunnel is about 120 meters long and ends in a blocked iron door. This short blocked part of the tunnel is where the hostages were held and murdered.
The Israeli military says that it is advancing deeper into the Hamas tunnels and are closer than ever to rescuing a group of hostages.
We know that between 2 to 6 terrorists were here with the hostages. We are gathering all the stuff here for forensics, for intelligence. We can see magazines, an AK-47 magazine, chargers, all used by the terrorists, Quran books, a hairbrush. We need to check who used it.
Meanwhile, Israel conducted airstrikes in central Gaza targeting a humanitarian safe zone, killing over 40 Palestinians on Tuesday. Israel has now released footage of the safe zone alleging Hamas operatives can be clearly seen embedded among civilians. Meanwhile, Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu's office says that the progress in ceasefire talks are at a very grim stage and would not materialize into a truce. Israel says Hamas chief Sinwar could bring an end to the fighting in Gaza if he accepts the safe passage offer in exchange for the hostages. Now, Sinwar's current whereabouts remain unknown, as he hasn't been spotted in public since October 7th, and it remains to be seen whether he will take up Israel's offer or continue hiding in Gaza.
In regional headlines, the Kentucky mass shooting and manhunt for the suspect are still impacting communities there, especially students.
Multiple southeastern Kentucky communities near London decided to suspend in-class time for 3 days. Others just canceled classes all week. And as Jeremy Toombs explains, that meant changes for football teams.
The search for mass shooting suspect Joseph A. Couch continued Wednesday, leading area schools to cancel classes once again. We've now learned the manhunt will shut off Friday night lights across southern Kentucky as well.
He's considered armed and dangerous, and so, you got to take precaution.
Coach John Hines' South Laurel team, as well as North Laurel and Corbin Independent, each called their games off, creating a ripple effect for opponents like Madison Central.
It affects a lot more than just the kids playing, including our band and our dance teams and cheerleaders. They prep and they work just as hard as anybody else. Let's go.
Coach William Blair says they were supposed to host North Laurel on a special night, celebrating the old Madison High School.
That's the big show that everybody comes to, and we're sad that we're not going to be able to do that.
Coach Blair is keeping his kids active day by day, but as we get towards Friday night, the possibility grows greater that they can't find an opponent. His players will be left sidelined and these stands will sit empty.
It won't be for a lack of effort.
We checked with Ohio, started looking at Tennessee, see what was available down there.
But it's another unfortunate result of a tense week.
There's been no school, there's been no practice, there's been no meetings, and then when that's upset, it's just really hard to bounce back from that.
These coaches hope they can bounce back as a whole, that the search finds its resolution, and their games can soon play a part in helping restore normalcy to the region.
Whenever it does happen, we're going to be thrilled and hit the ground running.
There's no makeup date set for those schools. Law enforcement is still searching for suspect Joseph Couch. The governor giving an update saying that there were no significant updates. Couch is still considered armed and dangerous.
We begin at 5 with a new development into the investigation into one of the large wildfires this summer along the Front Range. Deputies made an arrest in connection with the Alexander Mountain fire. The suspect, who you see on your screen, Jason Hobby, is facing arson charges. He's also accused of falsely claiming to be both a police officer and firefighter. Good evening, I'm Michael Spencer.
And I'm Karen Lee. Thanks for being with us tonight. Your reporter in Colorado, northern Colorado, Dylan Thomas, noticed the flames from this fire shortly after it broke out in July.
And Dylan, now you have details of the arrest.
You know, the day of that fire, we knew there was no lightning and there was also no report of any type of downed power line. So early on, we knew this was human caused, but we didn't know how and by who. But what we did not expect to hear until today was that the suspect had also allegedly been impersonating officers and firefighters throughout this process.
It was just a few short 6 weeks ago that the view behind me was drastically different. We had columns of smoke, we had trees torching, we saw a constant aerial display of aircraft dropping retardant in water on a community.
And dozens of buildings, many homes were lost as well.
And it literally scarred our community, both figuratively and literally.
Only underscoring the importance of finding out who caused the Alexander Mountain fire. The sheriff, John Fayen, says they believe they know. 49-year-old Jason Hobby, who lived and worked at Sylvandale Ranch, is now in jail.
We found evidence of a fire ring on top of the Alexander Mountain, and the fire escaped from the fire ring.
Detectives say it isn't clear if this fire was set intentionally or if it spread by accident, but they linked Hobby to the ignition and to several other serious reported crimes.
So he was impersonating both fire personnel and law enforcement personnel.
Before the fire started,
Hobby stopped travelers in the area, called people out on traffic stops, and pointed weapons at them, falsely claiming that they were trespassing.
And after the evacuations were placed, he was allegedly driving a fake wildland fire truck retrofitted with firefighting gear, emergency lights, stripes, and even a fire agency sticker.
It looks like what we would use, or a fire department would use for a wildland fire. There is emblems on it that says Twin Buttes Fire Protection District. And from our research and our investigations, we cannot identify a Twin Buttes fire department anywhere. He had fire gear that also had those emblems on it.
Now, the sheriff's office says they haven't ruled out the possibility that the suspect intentionally set this fire in order to act out with his fake police and fire vehicles. Reporting live tonight in Loveland, Dylan Thomas covering Colorado First.
And we're grateful that they finally caught up to him, Dylan. Thank you. Dylan covers what's happening all across northern Colorado. In addition to this fire, he's recently reported on stories in Estes Park, Fort Collins, Lovely, and Greeley, just to name.
But first at 4, we're tracking some breaking news on that Boar's Head recall. The company announcing today it's closing the Virginia plant tied to that deadly listeria outbreak. Boar's Head said an internal investigation at its Jarrett, Virginia plant found that the contamination was the result of a specific production process only used for liverwurst. The company will also permanently discontinue production of liverwurst, which was linked to at least 9 deaths. That Virginia plant has been shut down since July, when Boar's Head recalled more than 7 million pounds of products after tests confirmed listeria was present.
Our members rejected the contract by 94.6%.
Many union members are celebrating tonight after days of rallying for a strike. Starting Friday at midnight, they're heading to the picket lines.
These are burn barrels. These are going to go to every entrance on every site in Boeing. So Everett, Auburn, and Frederickson.
For what purpose?
They keep people warm for 24 hours until we get the new contract settled.
So what's next? Boeing and union leaders will have to go back to the bargaining table.
Last time we had a vote like this, we lost our pension.
If they wouldn't have taken the pension, I thought to save the company, but they gave themselves all bonuses and laughed about it. We're laughing now.
In the meantime, the economy could take a hit locally, depending on how long the strike lasts.
For every direct Boeing job, there are 4 indirect jobs. People in restaurants, the janitors and custodians who clean up in Boeing.
Machinists will only get financial help from their union after a potential 3rd week of the strike, just $250 a week.
Some of our members are not going to be well prepared, and they will need to lean on their communities, their neighbors, their friends, other members. Many of us will need to get jobs.
Now, of course, the severity of the impacts from this strike will depend on how long the strike lasts. In their last strike in 2008, it went on for 8 weeks, 2 months total, and cost the company $2 billion, or at least it's estimated. Workers will be picketing at the plants across the Puget Sound region, including in Everett and Renton, where they build Boeing planes. Reporting live in Seattle, I'm Maddie White, King 5 News.